Hello friends, welcome to this week's video. Again, this week I am taking a little break from my Welsh content to bring you a good old-fashioned recipe video. Today we're making kala chana, which are black chickpeas. We're going to be making them in the pressure cooker. So if you don't know how to use your pressure cooker, or if you feel a little intimidated by your pressure cooker, this video should help you out. Now these are not white chickpeas or the typical chickpeas that we get here in the West in cans. We do get them dried as well. These are black chickpeas. They're actually dark brown in color. They have a nuttier flavor. They're also a little more difficult to cook in the sense that they require considerable soaking and considerable cooking as well. To my pressure cooker, I have added the black chickpeas. They've been soaked overnight or for at least 8 hours. And then I've added 3 times as much water plus a little bit of salt. These need to be cooked on high for 8 whistles. And then they need to be cooked for an additional 30 minutes, but we'll come to that a little bit later. In a separate pan, I have some diced onion, tomato, ginger, garlic, and to these items I'm adding some haldi or turmeric, as well as some lal mirch powder or red chili powder, and a bit of salt. This is going to be the masala that we're going to add to our chickpeas once they are done cooking. So I've combined all of these ingredients in a separate pan. I've added a bit of salt, and I'm going to cook this until the tomato is nice and mushy. You can see there that my pressure cooker is in fact whistling, and we do need 8 such whistles. Once the pressure cooker has whistled at least 8 times, you can go ahead and turn down the heat to the absolute minimum, and we are going to continue cooking this on sim for 30 minutes. Once the tomatoes are nice and mushy, you can switch off the heat and uncover the pan slightly so that this mixture can cool down. Once it's cool enough, you can blend it. I like to blend mine as smooth as possible. I like a really smooth gravy for my black chana, so I'm transferring this into my little ninja bullet and I'm going to blend it up. Once 30 minutes have elapsed, turn off the heat on the pressure cooker and allow the steam to escape naturally. You'll know that that process is over when the cooker stops hissing, and then you can go ahead and open it up. The chana has absorbed some of the water in the cooking process, but there's still considerable aquafaba left, which is fine. It's better to have more than to have less. You can see that the texture is nice and soft. I can squish a chana very easily with a spoon. If you don't soak this chana enough, and if you don't allow it to cook long enough, then in my opinion, it will be inedible. It will be far too tough. I'm removing some of the liquid, some of the aquafaba, and just keeping it aside in case I have to add it back in. But I've added the masala here, the blended masala, which is the tomato, onion, ginger, garlic, and this is going to be the gravy, the curry. I'm adding a few more spices at this point. I'm adding some dhania powder and a little bit of garam masala. And I've actually turned on the stove again on the lowest possible heat because I do want these spices to cook and to come together nicely in the gravy. Over on the side, I am going to do a little bit of tempering. I'm going to add a chonk to this chana. So I have in some oil, I have a bit of jeera, and this is part of a bay leaf. It's kind of a crumpled, it's a flame. It's on fire now. But there we go, just tucking it right back in. And once the jeera or the cumin seeds have crackled, you can go ahead and pour this directly into the pressure cooker and combine this chonk in with the gravy. I do really like to add freshly chopped cilantro or coriander I think it really adds a punch of freshness to this gravy because the chana itself is so nutty, and the water, the aquafaba itself, carries a very nutty flavor. So having that cilantro really just wakes it up and gives it a bit of a punch. And this curry is done. Aside from the fact that it's a little time consuming and that it requires some forethought with the soaking and all that, it's not a difficult curry to make. You simply have to treat this chana correctly. And I also made a short where I've turned this chana into a sort of chaat or a salad, so I will link that above. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope that you are not intimidated to cook kala chana, nor intimidated to use your pressure cooker, because it is a wonderful tool, especially if you don't have an instant pot. It's a simple tool, but it gets the job done. All right, friends. Next week I will be back with the final installment in my Welsh travel series, where I take you to Sainsbury's, which is a huge grocery store over there in the UK, and I just had the best time. So I will take you with me on that adventure next week. But thank you for spending time with me, and I hope you're happy and safe wherever you are, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.